I need a miniature holder here. Let's see. Yoink. I love this miniature though. All that being said, what's up, Jedi Jared? What's up, Ankylosaurus? Let me I'm gonna share our miniature Monday goodies.
How's everyone doing?
Boop. Let me see. All right. Hey, World Edit, how are you? We're just gonna wait a couple minutes for getting started. Today's paint job shouldn't be crazy. Should be, you know, all of our techniques today are pretty much things everybody should know, so we're just gonna have a nice relaxing time. Let's see. Hey, Chewy. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Nomad? Oh, I should move this over here so I can see. There we go. You know, you'd think after all that time I would know the best place to position the chat and all that stuff, but I'm every other day it's like, what's going on? What's up, Game Father? I got a new wall. This has been the same wall. No, man, what are you talking about? Unless you're seeing something I'm not. Oh, whoops, it's not on. That's funny. Now the music should keep playing. I was wondering why it just like stopped. Everything today is strange. Strange days. Music should be not too loud though, and you should still be able to hear Justin sneeze in the background. All right.
Hello. I mean, achoo.
Yeah, the screen is probably small. Sometimes too, it's pointed this way, so you don't see them as much, depending on where my head's at. It moves all the time. The little bendy arm that I'm on right now kind of like has a mind of its own occasionally. But so today, this has been the mini that I've been most excited about painting, of course. This whole kit, just because I like it so much. We're gonna be painting up this guy right here. Should be relatively simple, but should be cool. Of course, over the weekend on Patreon, we painted up. So everybody was asking, so I'll show this. I know a ton of people have seen it, but let me back it out. Yoink. Most people out there in the interwebs saw the copper, bronze, brass, I don't know, just this very crazy metallic dragon that I was painting. So this is the copper dragon, I believe, from Reaper. It's a Bones mini. It also is available in clear, transparent plastic. So you can do something crazy with that. I was actually looking at it online, trying to be like, what could I do with an invisible dragon, like materializing or something like that, but that's just a lot of work that I don't need to put myself through. But, so a lot of people saw this and they were like, how did you do it, right? Obviously there are some color shift paints involved, but there's also just a lot of Reaper metallics, just regular metallic paint, and then a bunch of clear paints, right, to do all the tinting. So like if we zoom in here, you'll see, right, like all the shadows that I ended up doing are a mix between phthalo green and clear blue, clear purple, and clear magenta. All of them layered in different areas, right, to make things look crazy. So that was kind of, you know, what I was interested in. I painted this, of course, for a private lesson. If you're ever interested, just check out the website or send me a message. I do private lessons multiple times a week. But so I was working on that, and a lot of people were like, how do I do it if I don't have an airbrush? How do I do it X, Y, Z? So that's what we did over the weekend, was we mimicked, you know, just crazy, shifty metallics, and did it with just regular silver paint and clears, making washes and layering them and doing all that. So this is one of the Bones Black miniatures. There's like a series of sci-fi dinosaurs, and so this guy seemed to be a good fit for that. So we painted this one up over the weekend. And this tier, you have access for $5 a month. So this is just sort of our basic Patreon class we do every single month on the second Saturday of every month. So you can always check that out, patreon.com/minipaintingstudio. But that's what I did over the weekend, among other things. And that's really all my catch up. We'll save that information. But either way, we can go ahead and start planning out our paint job here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take Violet Shadow and prepare the sleeves on his arms. He has a little bit of his shirt showing in between his vest too, but nothing too crazy. Now then, of course, if you're someone that doesn't zenithal, or if you prime black, you'll be okay with this step. Just go ahead and make sure that there is some of the Violet Shadow on your miniature, and then we'll just highlight up the way that you would typically do it. But I, of course, am going to be semi 1-to-1 paint ratioing this, so that way I can see some of the zenithal below, so that way it sort of informs us as to where to put all of the rest of our shadows. Make sure you get these little spots here on the belly. Relatively simple. Boom, so that'll be step number 1. Hey, Sharky. Thanks, Socrates. So we've got that rocking and rolling. Now then, the next thing we can do, you're going to need to go ahead and get... How did I do this? I'm trying to remember how I did this. There we go. Alright, so we're going to do the... I got to remember what color exactly. I think I have the right color in my hand. It's the cyan, right? Yeah, cyan blue. It just looks so much different than the graphic. So I'm going to take the cyan blue. Oh. That was not shaking. Let the vortex mixer do the work for us. There we go. Come on. That color was not happy. It was like upside down on my little paint area. And then I'm going to go ahead and get our noir black. We will need some of that to just get a darker, sort of more muted blue tone. So I'm going to do 2 part cyan, 1 part noir black. Whoop. That's what I was afraid of. My blue just isn't really blue. Oh. And my palette cam isn't really focusing. I can fix that in 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. As Justin knows, or any of the streamers in the audience, OBS will just like literally forget the settings on things.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, oh no, we're not doing that today. Okay, thanks. All right, where's my focus deal? There it is. Stop that. All right, now we're locked in. Cool. Funny how that works. All right, cool. Socrates. So I use a Lab Genius. You can see what I use on my Amazon shop. You can go to amazon.com/shop/minipaintingstudio. But there's also a command in chat. I believe it's Josh's Things with an apostrophe. So exclamation Josh's Things, and I believe it'll hit you with that link. But you can see the exact brand. Oh, no, I didn't go dark enough. We want this, there we go. Think like a super dark denim. It's kind of what we're going for on the pantalones here. His harem pants, I believe is the term. As always, too, you don't have to buy something off of my Amazon shop directly to help me out. If you are going to go look for, unicorn slippers, if you need to buy your dog's gluten allergy medicine, things like that, you can just buy whatever you want if you've already gone through that little Amazon link, and Amazon will say, hey Josh, here's 3 pennies, or whatever the actual amount is, so you can help me out a little bit that way, and it is greatly appreciated.
Out of curiosity, does it tell you what people have purchased?
So it tells me sort of, like, if I wanted to be weird and like go back and snoop and see what people are buying, I would have to do like a search 60 days back or something to look, because it shows me like after the purchases have cleared and there haven't been any returns and stuff like that. So like it doesn't show me who's buying what, who did anything like that, but it shows like items, numbers purchased, numbers returned, chargebacks, how many click-throughs. You know, it's any of the regular like affiliate network information that it gives, but it's not like I don't get like an email saying, you know, Justin bought a men's onesie.
That is where I was going with this.
Yeah. I don't get the coolest information, but I get some of it. So with the lighter cyan here, I didn't mix as much black. We will do his sash and his turban. But yeah, I mean, I can see things, I just don't need to look. The only time I ever look is if, like, on the second day of the month, it's already at, like, a $30 referral or something, because that means somebody spent an insane amount of money. And so if something like that catches my eye, like, I'll go back and be like, what did somebody just buy that, you know, gave me such a huge kickback? And that's how I know someone bought an industrial, like, laser machine at one point last year.
Wow.
Yeah, just because it was like a big referral. But, you know, I know some heroes out there, some real awesome people were putting in their, like, work Amazon orders, but they would click the link first. So I really appreciate you guys. That's, like, amazing support right there. But I think...
use it anytime I shop on Amazon at all nowadays, so...
Yeah, I think that's kind of... And that's obviously big appreciado. But yeah, the stuff like that, when I'm like, what? Or like someone bought a generator that was like a $1,500 generator or something, right? And I was like, wow, okay. That's a cool purchase to go through. World Edit. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, make sure you double check that your Twitch Prime subscription hasn't gone dead in the water. All you gotta do is click that button. It won't automatically resubscribe for you, but if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe to the Reaper channel and send Reaper your support for free. And if you already support somebody using that, you can just support us too by signing up. Obviously, buying a miniature Monday kit, at the end of the day, is, that supports everybody on our end. But if you want to also support Ann, Sadie's show, Reaper Land, all the cool stuff like that, I mean, even Reaper Errant, right? I mean, it's all part of the same program. Subscribing through Twitch definitely is helpful. Yeah, if you're buying a DSLR like I have recently, in the last year, well, I guess last year, technically, but yeah, if you do that, I will get, I think, if it's that expensive, it would be like $8. But it all adds up. I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's kind of the trick I've learned trying to survive painting. Right now, I'm just doing strictly worn olive, 1-to-1 ratio. But that's one thing I've learned doing this so far, is that going for a bunch of a little turns into a lot. That's kind of the trick. So I'm just coating this directly, and then we're going to wash it down slightly. Since we don't really have a dark green, we're going to mix in a little bit of that cyan, I believe. Yeah. We need to make it a little bit richer green for the wash, and it will be cool. So, how are you guys? Did you do anything exciting this weekend? Let's see, you got your Vortex mixer a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I never really thought Like, I'd always seen them and I'm kind of like, nah, whatever. You know, I can probably just shake my paint and get away with it. However, that being said, the difference in consistency and, like... So when you're painting, you squeeze your paint out and you're like, oh, there's goop. Shake, 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 right? And then it typically fixes it. That's cool, but... The difference between me grabbing a paint, hitting it in the mixer, and then using it for the rest of my painting session, it really does save me a little bit of time and a little bit of frustration. And it actually is super helpful for primer for the airbrush. If you're an airbrusher, putting your primer on top of a vortex mixer first is awesome. I didn't think it would make a huge difference, and it really does. And then if you've ever had issues with your metallics in the past, it makes a big difference there too. So I recommend one. They're not cheap. You can get the cheap, like, nail polish ones. They're okay, but eventually the motor will burn out. That's why, like, the industrial scientific ones for lab work are so much better, because they're intended, right, to be used nonstop all day, every day. And it just happens that it's a great size for miniature paint. But, all right, so now I'm going to take a little bit of the cyan, mix it in here with our olive, turn that into our wash consistency. There it is on the palette. I'm not sure what I just dropped on the ground, but I dropped something. Probably a metal weapon, if I had to grade. If I had to guess. Okay, didn't go dark enough. Over mix that one out. There we go. It needs to be almost kind of a dark greenish, tealish blue. There we are. It's funny, it looked almost lighter. There we go. That's the color we're looking for. Nice green. Putting it up underneath where the turban overlays, and then down across the back. And then over here, we're going to do down the side. Down from top. Really just the top of the shoulders is the only place we don't need to focus on applying this. But I just want to accentuate some of these nice little dips and divots that are sculpted into that vest. They definitely turn out really nice whenever you give them some love. But all right, looks like we are, other than the feet and the skin and the weapons, we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. So what we can do, I know already, why don't we, let's knock out the pants. That'll be pretty easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get whatever white you want, of course. We have the white if you have the core color kit. I'm just gonna grab some white here, put it on the palette. And I'm gonna grab the color that we glazed the pants with, so that's sort of really deep neutralized denim. And it's gonna be 2 parts of that color, and then 1 part of the white. The white's going to dramatically increase your color like crazy, so be careful there. But as you can tell, I already know where to place my highlights pretty much because of the zenithal application. So I'm just going to be following these ridges nice and easy. I've seen a few of you share images of your big ogre bad boy from last time. And it looks great. I think you guys did a phenomenal job washing the color into the armor the same way that I did. I think that paint job turned out great in general. Far better than the first time around. One thing to keep in mind here, I'm highlighting up to the tops of this little poof in the back. So if we're thinking about this shape, right, in terms of a geometric or a volumetric shape, this is like a nice little sphere, the poof in the back of his pants. I mean, you can see that that's a rounded edge, right, if you look at it from the side. So we're going to highlight that direction, same thing there. And then, of course, on his desert donk here, across his butt, top of the butt, we're going to highlight that. Then down the sides, really there's kind of only one strand down the side. This miniature is sculpted so well in terms of paintability. I think that's why it's just so good. And we'll do the other leg. And then we'll add a little bit more white, and that will be it for the pants. The pants definitely are the most desaturated part of the entire paint job today. Right? Yeah. Everything else is pretty bright. But we want to keep it that way. We want these to be kind of like a, you know, a deep, stormy pantalone. So I'm going to add another brush tip of white. And I'm going for just the bottom ridges towards the bottom of the leg here. Mostly because he has this big satchel right there on the side of his hip that would cast a bit of a shadow, so I'm not going to try and highlight anything underneath it. Let's see, and in the middle of this fold is catching light, so I'll highlight that section, and then the bottom portion right here. Just like that. Then, like I said, the volumetric shape across the back of the calf. Highlight up that part, like so. And then top of the rump. Top of the rump to you, Andre. There we go. Down here. Nicely done. All right. No tricks here, really. Other than good old highlighting. And there you go. Boom. So, that'll be the darkest thing we work with all day. But not too bad, I would say. Is this the last mini in the desert kit? Yes, it is. This is our hero. Geek to be. Geek to be looks new. Everyone say hello to Geek to be. Hope you're doing good today. So now let's do some sleeves, huh? So I'm gonna grab this pale violet red. And we're gonna need new spot palette land here. Boom. And then I'm gonna get some more of the violet shadow. Alright. So, 1 part violet shadow, 1 part pale violet red. Or is it pale red violet? No, pale violet red. My painting memory got me the first time. Alright, so, following the same principles that we did the first time around, I'm just going to be taking this color, and honestly, you can pretty much glaze it on top of all the zenithal that's showing through, and it will set you up for the brighter highlights. Now then, on this material, I went for a much starker highlight, so you can see this here. Same way that the sash looks very reflective, like, you know, it's very, very shiny, it could be silk, who knows. There's also a much more drastic highlight on the sleeves, just to indicate that that is a different material as well. So that's kind of where my brain was when I was highlighting everything, was like, alright, so let's say, you know, maybe the pants are nice and thin, like cotton or linen. This top part maybe is a very thin cotton. Sash is silk, turban silk. The vest is just some thick cotton. I don't know. But if I was a strange desert dweller in a fantasy land, I mean, it's not a bad outfit. as Justin knows, since he's seen me many times in person, I would definitely probably pull off the outfit well, based on how I normally dress.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be too far off, actually.
I am wearing an all-over matching outfit, so my pants match this jersey shirt.
And actually, it looks kind of cool as far as like temperature-wise.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is hot up here, man. Alright. But we've had crazy rain. Actually, I know you guys have had crazy rain down there too, right? In the Dallas area?
We did.
Maybe not you.
Yeah, I didn't get it
Yeah.
in Fort Worth, but I think other people did, yes.
Man, you guys are backed up. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I'll always be here for you to get caught up on the kids. Alright, so I'm going to add another brush tip of our pale violet. Alright. Zoom in a little bit here as we get started. So, the best way to think about this is every little fold is a separate section. Actually, the best way to think about it is every fold is its own slice of cake. And we need to put icing only on the top of each slice of cake. So that would mean, if I'm looking at this slice of cake right here that's kind of dangling on the bottom of his arm, I want to put the icing right on top. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't want it to go too far down because we want a drastic shadow. So every little section, only the top of the folds are getting the icing, right? Hopefully that's connecting with you and not just making you hungry. But that's what we're doing now. So I'm just going to go back through and apply this to the top of every fold before we start going too much or highlighting too much. Alright, up here we can highlight a little bit more because we're going to highlight it further. So, across the top of the arm, all the way to the elbow. Moving to the back of the mini. And then down the little folds there towards his wrist. Relatively simple, but you can tell the difference between the left and right there. So now we're going to move on to the other arm. This one, same principle. Same principle, different school, right? We're just going down the top of every fold. Like so. I have to buy the remaining kits in the new one when it's released on Thursday. Oh, it's coming out on Thursday? Is that the official word?
He says fingers crossed. I don't think that's official. But
Okay. I didn't know if I'd missed a post today. Because I know I saw Byron in the Reaper group post and ask about it, but I don't have an answer, so I'm not answering. Rumor. Aha. Rumor. Okay. I know I'm excited to paint the mechanical bull in the dungeon dressing. So that's the difference, is next week we're actually going to be doing 3 things in one episode. Crazy, I know. But a lot of them, one of them simple, right? Very easy peasy. Just the torture rack, you know, wood, dry brush, wash, all that. And then the Iron Maiden is using the same colors as the Iron Bull. So we're kind of doing it in reverse, but we'll be doing the Iron Bull, the Iron Maiden, and the, I call it the Iron Bull, I think I call it the Brass Bull. We're painting it red. It's a red bull, whatever. We're just going to make it as confusing as possible. But we're doing all of that in the first episode, so that way we kind of fix our schedule with the delays that we'd had, plus, well, me being sick, plus a holiday. And then the 2 heroes following that, and then it is ReaperCon. So that at least is the immediate upcoming schedule. Alright, back on this side, the top of the arm. Like so. And thank you, everybody, too, that did reply on my Facebook page to give me suggestions for future kits that will help me out. And I saw some on there that I am definitely going to investigate. So some of you guys had some off-the-wall ideas that made me think, we can do that. I believe we can do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take directly the pale violet color here. And what I'm focusing on is just the highlight points here, the very top points catching the light. So just that fine edge of everything. You know what, this brush is being, brand new brush today. But it's giving me the weird brand new brush split. There we go. After after almost a month of me getting 15 new brushes, I finally cracked one of them. It's funny that I bought a bunch of brushes in bulk on purpose. One, because they were cheap, much cheaper in bulk, but two, because I needed them. I was using brushes that had just gone bad. And then I was super reluctant to open even one of them. So it was kind of funny to see that, but finally new brush day. Let's see, submitted vacation time for ReaperCon Live. That should be pretty fun. Brush for hire is rating. Thank you. Well, they definitely weren't cheap, but they were cheaper than 17 a brush, which is typically what they cost. Alright, then we're going to mix another color in here that is slightly unexpected, but it's a good trick on top of anything magenta that you have to make things appear richer and wealthier. No, just kidding. Richer and warmer is the idea. And just doing those finer little folds. Moving on to the other arm. And just doing the edge folds at the top. And then that broad top part of the arm itself. And then over on this side. And on this arm, going into the sleeve a little bit, about halfway for those highlights. Let's back this out real quick. Looking good. So now then, the last color we're going to sneakily mix in. I'm gonna grab our amber gold. Amber gold. Any kind of nice yellowy ochre color layered on top of a magenta, a purple, a pink, even a red. Creates a more dynamic highlight for you. Looks better than just going brighter or pastel. So I'm only going to use a little bit of this, about a brush tip, 50-50 mix with the pale violet for our final highlight color. And taking the color only at the very, very top edges Very, very tippy tops of everything we're working on. Like so, and you can see how warm it is, right? Like it almost reads as like a yellowy highlight. But that's what's nice is it doesn't take away from the actual color of the cloth. It just kind of shifts the hue in the highlight. This edge here. See you later, Brush for Hire. Thanks for the raid. I'm actually gonna go back over that area because my line didn't hit the edge. Let's see. We'll do it this way. There we go. There we go. We'll just hide the oopsie a little bit. And then the top of the arm, really just keeping this color to the center portion, trailing into the folds as they cascade down. So that way it's just a nice, richer color. Let's see, let me see. And down here, really just dotting the color in so that it continues on. There we are. Onto the other arm. Applying this color at probably like at a quarter or less than the entire length of the fold. And then across the top, just looking for that fold wherever it sits naturally to kind of highlight it and pull it down to the right. Everything's kind of swooping to the right on the sculpt, at least on this arm. Let's just keep that in mind. Oh my goodness, look at this brush. Brand new brush. Got wild hairs. We'll tame it. We'll tame the beast. There we go. I also didn't have it as wet as I should. That's typically where things go wrong. Alright. Easy peasy. So now, let's go ahead and let's do the vest, shall we? So I think we're probably good in terms of our shadow. If not, we'll go back and glaze it back in. But I'm just gonna take the olive color directly. We're gonna be working that on top. Go to new palette land here. New palettatia, population, my brush. So there are some cool structures built into this sculpt in the vest, but they're relatively subtle. So we'll be kind of trying to bring them out with the highlight. Let's see. So to compare the two, you can see kind of the structure that was built in there. Okay. Now the green's probably a little bit hard to read because the highlight isn't super prominent, but we are going to mix some of the same color that we just mixed in, that amber gold. Yeah. That'll be the next color layered in. And then a little bit of white added to the mix. So you'll do the bottom edge of both sides. Okay. All right. Across the back here, relatively simple structure. It's kind of that swooping action. You can see right here. So I'll start building that into the highlight. Down towards the bottom. And the center will get a little bit brighter. And that is relatively it for that structure there. So now we're going into that amber gold territory for a nice little, not sort of brighter white highlight, but we're just trying to increase that warm tone. So I'm going to use this to accentuate all of our highlight areas here, like so. Who else is starting to get relatively excited for ReaperCon? I know Justin is just bursting at the seams with excitement.
I think I will when it's finally running.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say when it's finally over.
Well, that too. It's nerve-wracking for sure. I'm not gonna lie. But I think it's gonna work out. It's gonna take a whole lot.
Let me see where I mix that up here. There we go. Yeah, I know when you guys announced the $50,000 painting contest sweepstakes, I was very impressed. So we'll see how that turns out.
Oh boy. I'm not gonna tell him. You guys gonna tell him?
What? Wait, what? That's not. Was that real? Is that not real?
I don't know what forum you read that on, but
Huh. What a shame. Oh, hey, Trash. Thanks again for the message you sent me. I don't know if you saw my reply. I don't get push notifications on Discord. So it took me a couple days before clicking around and saying, oh, oop, oop. Someone sent me a message. He did some emote icons for me. Let's see. Yep. All right. So that highlight is popping nicely. Let's move on to the back. All right. Going across top of the shoulders and then accentuating some of the gentle folds there. And then directly in the center on the back again. I think really that's the ticket. This green color combination is so nice though. It just looks like if it were a soda, I would drink it. Or the wrapper on a soda. I don't know. It looks refreshing. Looks like a refreshing color. I'm gonna add a brush tip of white to the same colors we just mixed. Brush tip and a half. And then this will be our final highlight color here. Going down the edge. This side, up onto the top of the shoulder, right underneath the turban, down the edge, down that interior fold, down the edge on the inside. Just about like that. Moving around to the back. Across the top of the shoulder. Underneath the turban, down the edge a little bit there, the fold, and that's pretty much it. That'll get us where we need to be there. Nice desert vest, if you ask me. Alright, cool. So we've got skin, weapons, face, blue sash. Let's do the blue. Blue shouldn't be too crazy. So I'm going to take the cyan, plop it onto the palette. I'm going to add a brush tip of white, and get to work. Okay. So now then, we are wanting this to be much more reflective, so it's going to look more like silk. Now then, the sculpt of this material kind of lends itself to that, which is great. So we don't have to do as much work. But I'm really focusing on sort of this top line that doesn't push directly up against the sash. It's like 1/4 of an inch down the way. And that'll help sort of build in that reflective nature since it's not pushed directly up against the nearest shadow. It'll appear a little bit more realistic that direction. I'm just kind of building it in, like so. Then down across the bottom, pulling down across the edge, just like that. Yeah, so that was funny when I was showing it off to begin. I don't think you were here yet. I had mentioned, right, that the sash on this guy almost looked like a non-metallic metal, right, because of how bright it gets, and that's kind of how you can play that silk texture game. Is by treating it like that. You just want it to be very, very stark in terms of its amount of white. So, like, we're going to use white directly, right? We're not going to use some off color to do the highlighting itself. Now then, I want to make sure I'm keeping my highlights in a straight line down the middle if I'm going to add any sort of beef to them. That also helps tie in the texture of the material. So you can see I'm going right down the center. You can do a little bit on the edge just for context that it continues onto the body. Just kind of dotting it a little bit. Like that. Pretty straightforward for our first highlight. And then across the desert donk, it's pretty dark, so we're just going to do this bottom edge because it's sitting in shadow. Just like that. The turban. Now the structure on the turban is a lot of fun. So this entire portion I'm highlighting up from the shadow of that curved bottom edge. Just like that. And then up to the inside of the side. Then, directly on the bottom, dude looks like he's got a walnut for the top of his head. And then I'm focusing really the majority of the color on the top part of the interior of the turban, on top of his head. Now then this little side pocket, highlight that like that. See if there's a matching one on this side. There kind of is, but it's in more shadow, so I don't care about it as much. Then at the very top, same way we focused on the top of the interior, doing it on these little side folds, down the middle bunching of the fabric. Same thing here. Trail it down the side. Okay, we're getting there. So I'm going to add another brush tip of white to the operation as we continue to increase our shine. Back down the edge. This time the edge I'm going 3/4 of the way down. I'm still focusing here on this sort of middle line that we chose to represent our reflection. Same on the opposite edge. And then trailing this into the individual ridges, like so. And then I'll go ahead and hit the very top of this little underpiece, right there. Now then, for the waistband, I'm going to be highlighting up all of our major sort of cross sections of the folds here, all the points, directly down the middle. Little something like that. Flipping to the back. We do this back edge on the turban, a little flap. This side a little bit different because we have a bit of a curve. So it'll be like you're outlining a triangle almost right there. Now then, taking this color, I'm going to do the edges on the interior portion of the parts that are overlapping the strange peach pit texture that we've got going on. Just like so. Just like so what? Am I right? There we go. And then in the peach pit walnut area, highlighting it from the front edge a lot more. And then I will go ahead and just go boop, 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 just like that. You have to make that noise at home, otherwise the effect won't look as good. But just highlighting the fact that there's like multiple folds, he's got crazy hair underneath, whatever the case is, that'll help brighten it up. Remember that was boop, 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 boop. That way you know what's going on. And I just want to re-highlight these edges so I can make sure. Here we go. When does the July box go on sale? The mechanical dungeon kit, I am not sure. There has not been an announcement. So, maybe this week, I'm hoping. Someone said maybe on Thursday. John had said at some point, hopefully the 16th. So that should at least give you some direction as to when to expect it. Maybe. I know you guys have seen the painted miniatures, so just a matter of getting the kits out the door. Alright, so now then, in the front, we have a little bit of a different story to tell because our highlight is going to be a lot more drastic. So I'm going to clean my brush out completely to make sure it's nice and malleable, so I can use it more like a pencil. I'm going to very carefully go in and start doing the individual folds here. Very carefully. Like so. Okay. Then the other side, very carefully. I need to wash out my brush. It's drying here today, so it's drying on the tip before I can even get it onto the miniature. It's also hot in here.
I was gonna ask if you had gotten your AC kind of worked out.
No, that'll never get worked out. For the rest of, our lease is up here in July, so we're gonna have to move next year. So until then, we just got to deal with it. All right, so that'll work for me. Let's back it out and look at our sort of table distance view here. Oh yeah, we're looking good. Looks like some shiny cloth to me. All right, so now we're going much more white. Actually, I just want to get a whole new little area of white here. That's a lot, but it'll work out. So this is like 2 parts white, 1 little tiny amount of the cyan. Okay. If you had to guess where it's going, I'm sure you could. It's going to be going in the center of all the brightest areas. And now that's going to sell our reflection. So you can see, got a lot brighter there. Then going down the center portion. I'm not even sure how I got there with that word. Just like that. Boom. Silky, silky, shiny. Okay. Oh, you know what? My bad. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this pale violet red and pretend like we didn't ignore this part the entire time. The little interior fold. That's hilarious. That's how sneaky that is. None of you in chat noticed. Oh, whoops. There we go. All right. Now then, back to our super, super bright blue. We'll put this just in the center folds. Right in the middle. We want it to be bright, bright, bright. Just like that. Whoop, just like that. There we go. That looks nice. Yoink. I'm gonna add a little bit more to that chunk right there. That's what cookies say when they look at me. All right. Flipping it to the back. Right in the middle. Just like that. Right on the edge of the flap. Sorry, the corners. The corner edges of the flap. Let's do it in the middle too, right there. Just like that. That'll count. Then at the top. Now mine had a mold line right in the top part. I just kind of dug in there and filled around. And I think we convincingly hit it. Convincingly. Add a little bit more white because that is the crown. I'm gonna do the same thing in the center, very, very top. I just want that to be real bright. So I'm adding, you know, another brush tip of our white here. It can be splintered bone, it can be linen white. Either way it'll work for you. Whatever you got lying around. Boom, look at that. Looking good, looking good. Let's back it out and adjust our focus and evaluate our life. Yeah, that looks shiny to me. Shiny silk, man. Very nice. Okay. Now, what are you? What is this? Oh, dust. Okay. So now we are left with some skin. So I am going to grab Redstone Highlight. That's going to be our base tone for this guy's nice tan skin. Very similar format to when we painted the ogres. Very similar. All right. Feel free to ignore the necklace for now. Just paint right over it. Making sure not to mess up any of the clothing that we've painted so far. This is Redstone Highlight. I don't know if I said that, sorry. There we go. Make sure you get the hand here. Give him a hand. He doesn't have one yet. Get up underneath his jowls. This is a little bit of a mold issue right here because it's pulled. But I mean, the casting's totally fine, right? But that little pock mark that was like up underneath his neck, that's some of the rubber the tire rubber from the mold is pulled off because that's like a little undercut section. I only know that because I've forced John to give me so many tours of the Reaper factory. Alright. So, obviously this miniature doesn't need a brand new mold. That wouldn't make sense. The rest of the miniature was super clean. But it's interesting, right? Sculpt to sculpt, you'll find little areas like that where it's like, oh, this is really deep. Or like, you know, if it's like a skeleton, one of the eyes is super deep. Well, it's because that mold has just pulled some of the rubber out over time, making it deeper and deeper. Covering the face there. And then the hand over here. Okay, back side of this hand, and then I have to take a drink because I'm having a really fun day of acid reflux, so
Oh no.
constantly dying. Well, it's my own fault. I say we. I had a very high exposure moment with a bag of Blue Diamond wasabi soy sauce almonds earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and eat one because I'm an idiot that loves pain. But they gave me heartburn, so my own fault. All right, we've done the damage. So all that skin is dry. Now we're gonna wash down a little bit. I'm gonna take that violet shadow. Surprise, surprise. Nope, that's noir black. They look so similar. Here it is right here. Make a little wash out of it. Boop, 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 boop. Go over the skin. Very thin, obviously, you can tell. Oh yeah, man, but hey Coffee, good to see it. Yeah, the habanero barbecue, it's so funny because they're really not hot. Like, you know, I read habanero and I'm like, all right, here we go. Kind of rub my hands, they kind of in for some trouble. But then you start eating them and you're like, oh, they're like really barbecue, right? They're like Chipotle barbecue flavored almost. But I had the same thing happen. The spice level did not reflect the amount of heartburn I got off of those. I was like, wow, what is happening? Maybe it's just almonds. Maybe something about the fat and almonds plus all the flavor makes me a sad boy. But what I'm going to do is I'm also taking the redstone highlight. I'm mixing it to make like a dark, deep, muddy color. I'm just going to coat the boots in this color here. You can see it.
For me, my real triggers are like super sweet stuff.
Oh, sugars. Oh, I wonder. That's very interesting that it's sugar. Huh.
Yeah, because I can eat curry all day long. Now, if I eat anything super citric acidy, like I can't drink orange juice. That's
yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But like, if it's like
well, and orange juice has a ton of sugar.
Yeah, exactly that too. So, but for me, it does seem to be primarily like I could eat a cinnamon roll, like a Cinnabon cinnamon roll. I could get a fourth of the way through it, and it's already just screaming back at me. But I can eat curry, like Thai curry, you name it. Any kind of curry, any kind of hot stuff, salsa even. No heartburn. Unless, of course, that salsa has sugar in it, which some does, as I found out.
Huh. Yeah, I wonder. That's so interesting. And I'm sure it just has to do with your gut biome, right? Like.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like whatever it is about that is what's triggering it. But I've never heard somebody say it's sweets. Now for me, if I have sweets, I get canker sores. So like if I have like cookies or something randomly, and then like the next day, which I almost never do. So like let's say I have like a sweet tea, right? Because I always drink like diet soda without sugar. But let's say I have a real sweet tea from a restaurant, the next day I'll have a canker sore. Like sugar just messes up the pH balance in my mouth.
Speaking of sweet tea, that is another drink that's like almost as bad as orange juice for me. I love it because, you know, Texas and sweet tea, but like it is, depending on if it's the sugary stuff from like Chicken Express, it's it's game over.
Yee, Chicken Express. That made me so hungry. I love Chicken Express, man. There's one like 1 minute away from my house. Alright, so now I'm going back, and we're going to be highlighting up all of the muscles. So we're going for the top part of the muscle. I'm going right back with the straight up full power redstone highlight, just to kind of get out of that shadow wash, that purple wash we applied to the skin. There we are. The face, I don't care about. That's too small of an area right now to re-highlight with this color because we're going to go brighter anyway. On the hand, since this is in shadow, I'll redo the top portion of the hand. This hand over here, we'll just sort of redelineate our highlight zones. So tops of the knuckles, top of the hand, outline towards the bangle. So I got some Szechuan peppercorn powder. So I'm excited to cook with that as we speak about heartburn. But I can't wait for it to make my tongue go numb. It's like my favorite spice.
Szechuan?
Mm-hmm.
Or peppercorn?
No, Szechuan, yeah. It's cool too if you get them whole, right? Because when you bite into them, they taste citrusy. It's so funny. And then just your whole mouth goes numb. But yeah, the Szechuan oil fried chicken is like one of my favorite things, so I think I'm going to try and make it here at the house. Last night we did this awesome, it was squash, zucchini, potato, onion, garlic, goat cheese, and there was olive oil, paprika, chili powder, and something else. Paprika, chili powder. I don't remember. Oh, a little bit of cumin. And yeah. But I did that last night. It was super tasty.
That does sound good.
Alright, so now I'm going to take olive skin. That'll be our next color here that we use for our highlight. Can you imagine painting tan skin and using olive skin? I know, it's crazy. It's revolutionary. It's not what you would expect. But we're doing it. Alright, so highlighting right up to the nearest, muscle edge there. There we go. Ooh, it's so dry in here. We actually got this huge, like, floor humidifier, so I could bring my old humidifier back into the studio, so I could use it while I'm painting, but we got a really nice one that also has an AION mode, where it's like it does positively charged ions that collect, like, allergens from the air and make them drop to the floor. So that way it's, like, allergy-proof sleeping. And that's been nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was I just bought a nice standing humidifier for the bedroom because it had like a... Man, I think it holds like 6.2 gallons or something of water at a time. But that feature, once I realized what it was, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Why have I never had this before? But it's been helping. I don't wake up with sinus pressure, headaches, stuff that make you want to burn every tree you ever see, essentially. Whoop. Alright, so now on the face, pretty simple. Highlighting up the cheeks, forehead and nose. It's pretty much the only spot you got, because then the rest of it is facial hair. On the hands, we're doing the knuckles across the top, the side, towards the bangle. Let me back this out so it's not so, oh my gosh. So it's not so touchy. There we go. In terms of my level of fidelity. Okay. So now I'm going to take some of that amber gold color, mix it in with our olive skin. Continue our highlight pattern here. Pretty much doing the top corner of every ab. Oh my gosh. I just mixed like 4 words. So I'm doing the interior diagonal corner at the top of every ab. And then just the top part of the pec. Traveling down. I'm gonna do a line going down the inside by the vest as well. I feel like that'll help kind of redelineate the space. But that also means I need to go back in with a darker color really quick. Taper it out. There we go. That works for us a lot better. Nice and smooth. All right, cool. On to the face. Top of the nose, middle of the forehead, cheeks, cheek, hand over here, all the knuckles, very top of the hand by the bangle. And my hand had a bit of a mold line, so I had to do reconstructive sanding surgery. But I think it looks okay. Then the back of this little thumb. Boom. There you go. Alright, cool. Now then, I'm just going to take a dark color I've got here. I think this is Noir Black. I'm going to coat our beard area. It is relatively semi-transparent, so it'll hopefully pick up some of the zenithal there still. Now you can do a black beard. You can do whatever color you want. I'm going to highlight this up to white just to make it nice and contrasty against the skin. There are eyebrows there for you as well, so if you're very brave, feel free to attempt the eyebrows. But the face is going to get real dark if you have dark hair like this. Obviously the skin tone just got so much darker, but once you highlight it to white, the skin will get rich again. So now what we need our antique gold, sorry. Antique gold and honed silver will get us what we're looking for. As I'm looking for my antique gold, where you at? Right here? No? No? Alright, am I just gonna lie and use a different color? That's what we're doing today. I don't know what happened to it. Hold on, I'll find it. For someone that only uses 32 colors, you wouldn't think I have this problem. This is exactly why I cut down on all my colors, so I wouldn't have this problem. But here we are today. Oh, wow. Was it right in front of me the whole time? Most likely? Alright, yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Now we're just going to do the sword, bangles, all those things. Yep. No hat club. Alright. Oh. It literally was right in front of me. I was about to use ancient copper. There it is. All right, now we got the right color. For those of you using the core kit at home. All right, we're gonna do this part of the sword. And then I have a trick to the silver we're going to do today that I think is very, very clever. So clever. But I know quite a few people probably hadn't thought to try something like this, so it'll be a neat little trick for you to do at home. Then the bottom tassels on the pantalones, we're going to go ahead and pretend he's got some kind of jewelry down there that makes him jingle while he walks. Got little, I don't know, whatever they are. I imagine they're just little, like, gold coin things that make some jingling noises as he beheads desert ogres. And then the necklace. Very carefully. Hold on. I know I can't do that on camera, because I will mess it up. There we go. Just use the side of the brush to... Oh! Of course. Of course! I get the paint exactly where I'm trying to... Make sure you guys don't get the paint, so I'll fix that real quick. There we go. It's like it never happened. Haha. Wait, is it still there? It's funny that the angle... There we go. The angle of reflection off the paint is like hard to pick up on. And shade it back down right there. Alright, cool. Relatively fixed, relatively fixed. Okay, cool. Then, on the sword, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a deep blue. You can see it on the palette there. This is the same blue that we used on the pants for the base color. I'm going to use this as a glaze. And I'm going to use it as a glaze in the shadows here on the zenithal. So check this out. This is a non-metallic metal technique, and we're going to use the honed steel as a glaze on top to bake in our shadow. So, you don't have to be super precise, just make sure you have a clean edge in the center of your blade. You could just literally wipe from that direction. I'm pushing it back up. There we go. I'm gonna layer in some more. Here we are. And then down here, I want this to be pretty dark. And then much thinner as we go up. This is mostly water you're seeing here on camera. As it dries, it'll be way less saturated. Take a little bit, go underneath this little curved edge, whoop, just like that. Not a lot, we just want some shadow there. Then on the backhand side, I'm just gonna copy the same pattern, honestly, since this shape of this blade's kind of advanced. I'll keep it simplified. If we were doing non-metallic metal, that little end at the bottom would be sort of challenging to deal with. Then same color up underneath towards the handle here. And then taper it with water, like that. Like magic. All right, that's gonna dry, and then we'll be able to put our silver on top, and it will keep some of that shadow. It worked the last time I tried it. Hopefully it'll continue to work here. I'm gonna add a little bit more, just to increase our contrast. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get the honed steel. In the longest shake ever on that. Oh, and I'm also going to use this color on the bangle. It's alright. Hone Silver. Actually, let's go to New Palette Land over here. Nice little clean spot. Very little work area left. Okay. So, taking the Hone Steel. It's directly on top of our blade. Very thin application. I feel like it dried instantly, but you can see that color's underneath. Not as pronounced as I'd like, though. Should have gone darker with the color. We'll do it again on this side. So as it dries, we'll see. Yeah, that baked in our shadow. But relatively simple way to do your true metallic metal. But of course, I'm just gonna go back in, mixing this color with the Hone Steel. Oh, why are you so crazy? There we go. And we'll just fudge our shadow. We'll just say, hey, this shadow's been here all along. Ignore the shadow. Or don't ignore, sorry. Mind the shadow. Yeah, that's cool. Nice blue steel. And then right here and down here, do the same trick. Boom. Nice shiny blade. You can go darker if you want with the color. I'll do it a little bit darker here. In the spots where it should be very dark. There you go. And then we'll do the tip of the blade at the bottom. Like so. Quick, easy technique. Get some cool colors going on your weapons. Alright, so, now then, Noir Black Wash. Nothing insane. I'm gonna put it all over our shoes, the metal, top of the shoes, on his pants, whatever. We're just washing everything down. A little bit around there. Perfect, so let that dry before highlighting back up. And then now we're ready to just go in and do our facial hair. So I'm just mixing a gray on our palette. Getting rid of the loose cat hair floating in the void. Highlighting up our eyebrow. Our mustachio. Into the goatee region. The goatee region of his face. And then up the sides. Just like that. And then we're going to go much brighter. So I'm going to go with the white directly next. Now then, for more realistic texture, I'm dotting the inside edge of the eyebrow and then the part that's touching the turban. So you should have like 2 dots there, and what it does, it just adds more dimension to something that's tiny. Is the idea there. Then the mustache. I'm just doing downward brush strokes create variance in texture. Do some implied sculpted facial hair there. I think it is actually sculpted in, but just very fine. Same thing on the sides, just thin little brush strokes, all right next to each other to do implied hair. And there you go. Came together just like that, huh? Now then, highlight up our handle. Like so. Let's back it up. Whoop, as I punch my camera. That's cool. So that's what you're supposed to do to cameras. You punch them.
Yeah, you punch them until they work, right?
Yes. Tassels on the bottom of the pants. Front hand side. Now then, whatever color you want, really, for the sort of like wrapped handle portion of the blade. I just mixed a really gross greenish color. I'm just going to overbrush the middle portion and call that Tuesday. Nothing fancy. And then the shoes, we had kind of this grayed out color in general, very neutral, muddy brown. I'm going to use that same color that we used for the base coat just to highlight up the toe edge, everything like that. So just an ochre green on the shoe. And that is it for our desert kit. So there you have it. Up next, we've got, of course, our mechanical dungeon kit. So let me show this off. Remember, next Monday, we're painting up 2 whole portions of this kit. So that way we can get caught up on the rest of the world here. So let me back this out real quick. All right. So here we have our hero. Very fun. Our friendly, helpful NPC, our Duke. This kit's awesome because it comes with so many shaded metallics, and that's what the majority of this is. Like, this is a just darker metallic color with a brighter one layered on top. So it's cool that we're able to layer and wash with metallics in this kit, something we've never done before. Then, of course, on next Monday, this is what we're hitting. We're going to be doing the big Red Bull with all of his iron rustiness across his back, and then the red metallic shifting to a like golden bronze. Very, very fun. We have the torture rack. I mean, it is what it is. It's not crazy to paint. Very simple, but it looks good as long as you weather it a little bit. And then the Iron Maiden as well with 2 different rust effects there. We've got that nice LED blue color, and then I believe it's like lava orange, something like that. But so we'll be doing all of these 3 next Monday. And then the following 2 weeks after that, each awesome mechanical dungeon slaying hero there. And then we'll be ready for our undead kit following after that. And those images will be done here relatively soon. I won't release them immediately. We'll wait on that, but everything's painted. I know the people that were at the Patreon class Saturday got to see one of them because I had finished it up and I showed it to them, and they're definitely pumped about it. Looks really cool. So thanks so much again for hanging out with us on this Monday. Now, do we have any news or anything like that you've got for us, Justin?
No, nothing special. Just at this point, it's just tomorrow is Ann show at 11:30, and then Proctor show should be going off that itch. But outside of that, no, nothing updated yet. So
Okay.
standard stuff. I was gonna ask Josh, would you like to choose the raid today? Because I don't have any regulars on right now. It looks like so.
Let me look.
Again, I let Sadie choose and I let Ann choose, and there's no reason not to let you choose occasionally.
All right, so we should go say hello to. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just hoping they don't hit me with like a. All right. Shapochi. Do you know Shapochi?
Yes, that's the one that Sadie likes to raid.
Oh, okay, well, hold on. Let me find somebody else then. I want to find.
We've raided her several times.
Okay, yeah. I'm hoping to find. Oh, there's somebody I would love to raid, but it definitely is not. I don't think it's up the same. It would be hilarious to raid this person, but okay. Yeah, have you done Void Brush Steve before?
No.
All right, let's go see Void Brush Steve. He is painting a Warhammer 40k orc war boss. It looks like he's rocking and rolling. I can send you the link in Discord here if you need it, but it's Void Brush Steve, one word. Let me see where you at. Doo-doo. There you go, Justin. But it'll be good to give somebody some love that hadn't had it before, so.
So bad news, he does not accept raids.
Ah, okay. All right, let's go.
So Twitch kicked it back, yeah.
Yeah, all right, let's just go to Shapochi. That's cool. I'm interested in what she's sculpting today. Looks like a weird little golden rat creature, so that'll be fun. How funny. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you next week for the triple miniature extravaganza. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. Keep being awesome, spread the Reaper love, and have a great rest of your day.